What if I told you the biggest reason men over 60 struggle in the bedroom has nothing to do with testosterone? It's not a lack of desire. It's not your age working against you. The truth is, it's your blood flow. More specifically, a molecule called nitric oxide, a chemical your body needs to open up blood vessels and get the blood exactly where it's supposed to go. By the time you hit 60, your nitric oxide production may have already dropped by over 70%. Let that sink in. That's like trying to water your lawn with a hose that's kinked shut. No matter how strong your desire is, if the flow can't get through, nothing's going to happen. I'm Dr. Mark Hyman, MD. I've spent over 30 years helping men just like you rediscover their strength without relying on pills, pressure, or shame. I'm a practicing physician and founder of the Ultra Wellness Center. I've worked with thousands of aging men and written 14 best-selling books on functional health and nutrition. But what matters most to me isn't what's in a textbook. It's the quiet transformation I've seen when a man finally feels like himself again. And that's what I want to give you today. This isn't about selling you a miracle. It's about showing you what's already in your corner, your biology, your body, and yes, even your food. Let's start with something you probably haven't thought about since childhood: beets. Beets. I know it's not exactly the first thing that comes to mind when you think of reclaiming your manhood, but let me take you back to one of my earliest patients who proved just how powerful this forgotten root can be. His name was Clarence, a retired postal worker from Kansas City. At 72, he sat across from me with a look I'll never forget. "Doc," he said, "I'm still me up here," tapping his temple. "But down there, it's like the lights just don't turn on anymore." He wasn't angry. He wasn't hopeless. He was just tired of feeling invisible. That's when I told him about beets. See? Beets are loaded with natural nitrates. Your body takes those nitrates and converts them into nitric oxide, the very molecule that opens your blood vessels and helps send blood exactly where it's needed. Unlike prescription pills that force the issue, beets work with your body. No side effects, no next-day crash, just a quiet, natural boost that restores what time has slowly taken. Clarence agreed to try a simple routine: 1 glass of beet juice every morning. No gimmicks, just food. 2 weeks in, he called me. "Doc," he said, "it's not magic, but something's waking up." And he wasn't just talking about the physical. His voice had life again. That sparked confidence, energy, even a little pride. It was coming back. That's the power of beets. They don't just help you perform. They help you reconnect with the man you've always been. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, Dr. Hyman, that's one guy. Where's the proof? Fair question. I don't fall for fads either. I've seen too many miracle foods come and go. So before I ever recommend something to a patient, I dig into the research. And when I looked into beets, I found something that truly surprised me: real science. One study published in the journal Hypertension followed older adults who drank beetroot juice daily. Within just a few weeks, their systolic blood pressure dropped by about 10 points. That may not sound like much, but it's huge when it comes to improving blood flow, especially to the areas of the body that matter most in intimacy. Another study in the Journal of Applied Physiology showed that older men who consumed beets had significantly improved oxygen delivery, better cardiovascular performance, and enhanced stamina. And get this, the nitric oxide journal confirmed that beets actually help aging arteries become more flexible. not just a quick fix, a structural change. That's what makes Beets different. They don't hijack your system. They restore your foundation. They help your blood vessels remember how to work. They build you back from the inside out. So this isn't just a feel-good story. It's a clinical reality. And once you understand the science, the next step is knowing how to actually use Beets the right way. Because yes, it matters, and that's where most guys go wrong. I'll never forget the day a man named Ray walked into my office, holding a can of beet juice in one hand and a bottle of beet capsules in the other. He looked at me and said, "Doc, which one actually works?" I smiled, because I've heard that question more times than I can count. The truth is, it's not just what you take, it's how you take it. Beets are powerful, but only when used consistently and in the right form. For most men, I recommend starting with 8 ounces of fresh beetroot juice in the morning, preferably on an empty stomach. That's when your body is primed to absorb nutrients quickly and efficiently. Some guys can't stand the earthy taste, and that's fine. I've had patients mix it with a little lemon juice or ginger to make it more palatable. Others prefer roasted beets. They're a soft, sweet, and easy on the gut. I suggest pairing them with olive oil and a sprinkle of goat cheese, delicious and functional. If you're more of a smoothie guy, a scoop of high-quality beetroot powder can do the trick. Just make sure it's pure and additive-free capsules. They're okay, but they should never be your only strategy. The key isn't the form, it's the habit. When you make Beets a part of your daily rhythm, your body begins to remember how to respond. Because this isn't about a quick fix, it's about reclaiming something deeper, the energy, the confidence, and yes, the man you still are. Let me tell you about Sam. He was 7 when he walked into my office, a retired firefighter from Cleveland. A man who once ran into burning buildings without blinking. But now, he sat across from me looking uncertain, quieter than I expected from someone who'd lived that kind of life. "Doc," he said, "I'm not looking for fireworks. I just want to feel like myself again." We didn't go with any fancy protocol. I put him on something simple, 8 ounces of beet juice every morning, right after waking up. Then, just a 15-minute walk around the block, nothing extreme, no pills, no expectations. Week 1, subtle. He slept a little better, had a touch more energy in the afternoons. Week 2, he mentioned feeling sharper, more alert. Said he didn't hit the usual wall around 3 p.m. But in week 3, something changed. He walked into my office with a grin that said it all. "Dr. Hyman," he said, "I don't know what's happening, but I woke up this morning and just felt alive again." That's the beauty of working with your body, not against it. When you give your system the right tools and just enough movement to get the blood flowing, it responds. Quietly, powerfully, honestly. It wasn't about chasing youth. It was about reconnecting with strength, inside and out. Sam got his mornings back, and in a way, he got himself back. And that's the kind of change I want every man over 60 to know is still possible. There's a question I get all the time from older men, and it usually comes with a worried tone. "Doc, can I even try Beets if I'm already on blood pressure meds? Or I've got diabetes?" My answer, almost always, yes. And not only can you, it might actually help you more than you think. One of my patients, Bill 74, former truck driver, was on 2 medications for hypertension and had been managing type 2 diabetes for over a decade. He was skeptical when I recommended Beets. Won't it mess with my meds, he asked. But the science says otherwise. Beets help improve vascular function. They don't fight your medications. They complement them. In fact, some of my patients have been able to gradually lower their medication dosages under supervision once their circulation improved naturally. Another man, Ed, 70, asked about combining Beets with ED pills, and I told him the truth. They work differently. Pills are like a temporary push. Beets rebuild the highway, widening the lanes, repairing the roads. Ed used both. But within a couple of months, he needed the pills less and felt more in control of his own body again. Now, I always remind my patients this isn't magic and it's not a race, but it is real, and it works with your body, not against it. If you've got chronic conditions, don't assume nature's off limits. Sometimes, it's the missing piece you've been looking for. It was a quiet Sunday evening when I got a call from Dale, 69, a retired engineer from Spokane. "Doc," he said, "I've been doing the beet routine. Mornings are better, but they're still inconsistent. Anything I can do before bed to help?" That's when I told him something I usually only share with my long-term patients. The secret isn't just what you do in the morning. It's what you do at night. See, nighttime is when your body does its deepest healing. That's when testosterone is regulated, blood vessels repair, and growth hormone kicks in. But if your nervous system is tense or your sleep is shallow, that healing can't happen. So I gave Dale a simple nighttime ritual: 1 cup of warm water, 1 teaspoon of tart cherry juice, rich in natural melatonin, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds for zinc and magnesium, and just 5 minutes of slow breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. He didn't need a new prescription. He needed rhythm. Within 10 days, Dale told me, "Doc, I'm waking up rested and stronger, but even more powerful, I feel like my body's working with me again, not against me." That's the point. Pairing your daytime beet routine with a calming, restorative nighttime flow supercharges the results. Your body already knows how to heal. It just needs you to create the right conditions for it to remember. A few months ago, a man named Brian walked into my clinic. He was 66, with sharp eyes and a weary heart. He dropped a heavy bag on my desk. "Doc, this drawer is my love life," he said with a half smile. Inside, over a dozen bottles of prescription pills, mostly for erectile dysfunction. "Sometimes they work," he said. "Most of the time, they don't. But either way, I feel like I've lost control." I leaned forward. "Brian, there's a difference between forcing a result and restoring a function. ED pills are like hitting a panic button. They shove blood into one area, but ignore the deeper issue: vascular health, nitric oxide, nerve communication, hormonal rhythm. They're a band-aid, not a rebuild. But Beets, they work with your body. They support nitric oxide production, help your arteries become more flexible, and encourage natural blood flow. No side effects, no crashes, so we switched his approach. 1 daily glass of beet juice, a short morning walk, that same bedtime ritual. And we added something new: confidence tracking. Every day, he'd write down one moment he felt stronger, more in control. Weeks later, Brian came back, glowing. Not because everything was perfect, but because he felt present again. "I'm not chasing pills anymore. I'm partnering with my body. He told me, that's what most men don't realize. The real power isn't in a pill. It's in rewiring your health from the inside out gently, naturally, and sustainably. I'll never forget the conversation I had with Thomas, a 72-year-old former Navy mechanic. He was a man of few words, but his silence spoke volumes. As he sat in front of me, his voice cracked. "Doc, I don't feel like myself anymore." He wasn't talking about desire. He was talking about dignity that deep, unspoken pride so many men hold close. The kind that starts to fade when the body doesn't respond the way it used to. See, when erections weaken, it's not just physical. It chips away at your sense of self, your identity as a man, your connection with your partner, your confidence in your own skin. That's why the emotional shift matters just as much as the physical one. And it's why natural solutions like Beets can have such a powerful impact. Not just because they help restore blood flow, but because they help return control to the man who thought he had lost it. Thomas wasn't looking for fireworks. He just wanted to feel whole again. After 3 weeks on the daily beet juice, his morning walks, and improved sleep, he told me, "I looked in the mirror this morning, and I recognized myself again." That's the power of small, intentional steps. It's not just about the bedroom. It's about reclaiming who you are. When your body starts working with you, your spirit does, too. You speak more clearly. You laugh more easily. You stand taller, not just physically, but emotionally. And that's when real healing begins, not with force, but with hope. I want to speak to you now, not just as a doctor, but as a man who has walked alongside thousands of others on this same road. After 3 decades in medicine, I've seen one truth again and again: the desire to feel strong, connected, and whole never fades with age. It's not vanity. It's human nature. But somewhere along the way, we start to believe a dangerous lie that once we pass a certain age, our best days are behind us. That losing energy, connection, and confidence is just part of getting older. I'm here to tell you that's false. You are not broken. You are not too old. You are not beyond help. What's happening isn't your body giving up on you. It's your body asking for support, for nourishment, for a little grace. Beets are just one tool, but they're a reminder that nature has already given us so much. When you combine them with gentle movement, deeper sleep, and emotional honesty, the changes ripple through every area of your life. I've watched men go from silent shame to proud connection, from watching life pass by to waking up each day with purpose. It's not a miracle. It's a choice, a shift, a moment where you decide, I deserve better. So maybe your first step is simple: a glass of beet juice tomorrow morning. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's believing, just for today. That change is still possible, because I promise you this: your strongest years might still be ahead. And I'll be right here, rooting for you every step of the way. Sometimes, the biggest changes in our lives begin with the smallest shifts. Not a giant leap, not a magic pill, just a quiet decision to care for ourselves a little more deeply than we did yesterday, maybe today. That shift starts with you. If you're a man over 60 who's been carrying silent frustration, uncertainty, or even shame, I want you to know you're not alone. You're not weak. You're human. And every man I've ever worked with has felt the same way at some point. The journey back to strength isn't about becoming who you used to be. It's about becoming who you still can be. And it starts with listening to your body, respecting it, giving it the support it's quietly been asking for. Beets may be just one part of the answer, but more than that, they symbolize a deeper truth that healing doesn't have to be synthetic, complicated, or expensive. Sometimes, the most profound results come from the most natural places. So take your time. Be patient with yourself. Choose one small habit, one better night of sleep, one honest conversation with someone you love. You deserve to feel good again, to feel connected again, to wake up with energy, strength, and confidence, no matter what your birth certificate says. Thank you for letting me share this journey with you. I'm Dr. Mark Hyman, and if this message touched something inside you, know that there's so much more ahead. You're not done. In fact, you may be just getting started. Here's to your health, your heart, and your hope.